What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. Now, I got a video for you guys. I want to do it this way because I want to make the comparisons and I want to bring some light to the situation to show you motherfuckers exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of you get it, but you always have somebody that just doesn't get it. And I'm not going to, we done simplify things as much as we can. And we're not gonna just sit up here and cater to the damn retards, man. Like people who want to purposely be retarded. Okay, you're not born with any autism or nothing wrong. No, you're just stupid. Like we're not fucking with you. So we're not caring about what you guys are thinking. Now, reality. So I was watching this series of videos of Bruce Lee. I was watching this Chuck Norris. Started watching different pieces, and now people, to get your attention, will say things like the real reason. This is what the thumbnail will say. Some shit like the real reason Chuck Norris hates Bruce Lee. Chuck Norris have never put a video out. There are no videos where he said he hates Bruce Lee or talked down on Bruce Lee. The only thing Chuck has done, he's never bowed to Bruce Lee or talked about him like, oh, I couldn't beat Bruce Lee. He didn't do that. And like I said, I wouldn't respect any motherfucker that's going to sit up here and call yourself a real fighter and put yourself in a position to, now, don't get me wrong, honesty is honesty. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying Chuck knows that people get pissed off when someone says that they think they can beat Bruce Lee. You understand what I mean? So here's the difference. Let's say if someone asked Chuck that question and Chuck says, well, I think it would have been a competitive fight. I mean, Bruce Lee was very fast. He's not a big guy, he's small. So I know he's very quick. And I always heard Bruce, and this is what Chuck said. Okay, so Chuck said, yeah, we were both two highly skilled guys. I think it would have been an entertaining fight. No, what the Bruce Lee retards want people to do is say, oh no, Bruce would have killed me, man. There's no way I could have beaten Bruce. So when you have people say, oh, Chuck Norris knows Bruce Lee would have did, that's what you say. You're not Chuck Norris. Now, here's the difference. There's several videos of Chuck Norris fights. In fact, the very last league that Chuck Norris fought in, he fought for like a long time and he ended his career undefeated. So yeah, Chuck has a lot of losses in the sport. See, difference. Chuck was in a regulated sport and you can watch his fights. Bruce Lee was not. Bruce Lee preferred fights with no rules, unsanctioned fights. That's what he liked. See, he liked the Royce Gracie type shit. I can pull your hair. I can pull your clothing. Once again, like you saw in the movie The Chinese Connection, right? Where he basically ended up biting the guy when the guy had him in the armbar and he couldn't get out and he bit him on his calf. Yeah, see, he liked the unsanctioned shit. It's just street fighting, basically. Okay? With rules and regulations, why not? Bruce Lee had a boxing match, a Western style boxing match with this guy, Wellington or whatever, who basically wasn't shit. He was a shit fighter. Bruce Lee beat the guy, and that was Bruce Lee's first and only fight of that style. Now, what was it about that style that Bruce Lee decided to not do it? What was it about that style that Bruce Lee said, nah, this isn't for me? What was it? I don't know. But for the record, you see, fighting where someone lands a shot, pow, right? And it's like, point. You think that's the same as bam, bam, oh shit, block, block, pow, 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 bam, bam. No, it's not the same. This is where people fail to understand. You are fighting in a system of point systems. Now, you can land a shot and knock somebody out, yes, but you're only going to get that one shot off. And that's what people fail to understand. That's why you can't fight that style against an MMA guy or a boxer where if you get hit, and that's the thing about MMA guys, a lot of them can't take punches. They don't really realize that until they get cracked. But that's why when you fight in a system, a sanctioned fight where there's rules and regulations and a person don't like that, is because the things that they're going to use to their advantage is not necessarily legal. Now, once again, nobody's saying Bruce Lee couldn't adapt. I don't know if he could or couldn't. It has to be something you want. So for him to have one Western style boxing match and that's it, I showed you him hitting the bag, right? Now, an example of something, right? The guy, I sparred a lot of karate guys. I sparred a lot of martial arts guys. And I knocked all of them out easy. One punch, like, man, one of the things, let me show you some shit. One of the things that martial arts guys do is this shit right here. So I'm in my boxing stance, right? I'm in my stance, and they do this shit right here. Okay? This is the shit they do. And they always lifting their fucking knee up and shit. They doing all this shit. You know, 2-3 moves in chess or the wrong moves is checkmate. And that's exactly how the fights always went. They do something, and when they throw punches, they like to fucking, now you gonna let somebody jump up in the air and throw a Superman punch at you and land that shit? So all that shit that they're doing, when they get counted, is always the same thing. Because when they're doing this shit here, I think a lot of times they think this shit looks intimidating or something. Or they'll come out, just doing some stupid shit. Perfect example. I'm sparring a guy, and either they do that or they're just real hyper. Oh, no, all this shit. And I'm looking at them like, what the fuck are you, like, okay. So the guy comes out, and all their punches, like, they don't even know how to throw a jab. A jab basically shoots here. They do this shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the second your hand go back, bang! And next one happen, little slap hook, bow, just catch them, and then they're out. Or they're down. And they get up, and they're fighting as if they're in the street in survival mode. No composure, no nothing. They're not used to that shit. Now, if you watch Chuck Norris is, and he likes to get in close. And Chuck comes in with the kick and the overhand where he tries to, he'll come over to, block their hand down and then come over, right? The problem when they try to do that against a boxer is you throw your kick and you come in, slap their hand down, you come over. Okay, let me spin around. Look at where my hands are. You understand? Look at how I'm standing. It's like I'm running, right? All this shit is open. If you don't know how to box, you're going to make those stupid mistakes. And I'm watching and I'm like, you know what? I see what's happening right here. I understand what's happening right here. This is why when I was studying martial arts, my style was different. Because I'm going to tell you some shit. Doing katas will get you knocked the fuck out in a real fight. Because a kata is something that you're taught to throw. So when you're practicing your blocks and all this shit, and right, in a real fucking fight, nobody's cooperating with you. That's why when these kung fu senseis be like, okay, now I want you to come in. Now throw your punch like this. Why are you telling me how to throw a punch? And they always have you throw a punch in the wrong fucking way, and then they'll step in, right? And then throw you over the shoulder with the judo throws. Who the fuck fights like that other than some street fighter that nobody's doing? Okay, so this is what I'm saying. When I would see people do that, I'm like, nah. So I always adapted, just have my style. This is what we loved about Bruce Lee's style in the movies. In the movies, Bruce Lee just had a cool swag, right? He doing this shit here with the fingers and all, hands on his knees. And, he's edging in and all this shit. And we're looking at him like, his swag, his coolness, right? Real fight. No. You want to know what I didn't see Chuck Norris land in real fighting? You know how he got that spinning back kick? You know how he throw that shit and his hair swing when he does it and the shit just look cool? Nope. Now, the movie fighting, what I'm saying, because you don't have any real fights of Bruce, watch Chuck Norris real fights and watch his movie fights. It looks so different. But people don't understand that shit, right? It's just like if you throw a fucking spinning back kick and you throw like a fucking, you just fake the kick here. If you just do this, where you can't see my knees. If you just do this shit right here, just raise your leg, a person usually jumps back. Boxers are taught to not necessarily do that shit. If you do go back, and I've seen boxers do it, go straight back on the line, but some of them are quick enough to go back. Some of us can go back and then hop to the left or the right quick and be out of harm's way. And then be on your ass because what you try to do is not going to work. So you see a guy fake and then spin. Bam, right? And when they spin into the shit, the person that just jumped back usually jumps right back in. Karate guys get caught right in the fucking breadbasket. Now I'm watching all this shit, right? Remember how Bruce was hitting the bag with this shit here? Remember how he was doing all that shit? Right? Now you know damn well you're not going to hit anybody with that in a real fight. When you hit a speed bag, people be doing this shit, right? I can hit the speed bag and talk to you. I don't have to look at it. Who the fuck in a fight am I going to be doing this against, right? So when I learned how to hit the speed bag, without saying shit to the coaches, because boxing coaches always want to try to talk you out of doing something, I learned how to hit the speed bag the way I throw punches in a real fight and still make that shit, right? Instead of doing this. And I remember one of the coaches looked at me one day. He stood there and crossed his arms. He's watching. And he said, I ain't going to ask you who taught you because you here every day. I looked at him and I said, everything you don't need to know. And I'm just hitting the bag. I'm hitting it. Because in a real fight, this is where my punches are coming from. My punches is not coming this way. Right? So all the traditional shit that I felt some kind of way about, I didn't skip it. I did it. And after I did it, it sank in even more. Nah, that's not how I'm a punch in a real fight. I learned how to build my forearms up and do everything to get that strength. The speed bag is hand-eye coordination. So why am I doing this shit? Right? I said, nah. My hands are tough enough. That's the reason why today I don't have hand problems. You got active fighters right now that's like, man, I got hand problems and I'm this and I'm that. And then you look at him in the fight and go, yo, this dude barely get hit and he's accurate. Where do you think the wear and tear on your hands come from? The training. So when I watched this shit, I said, okay, here's the deal, right? How many people think Chuck Norris, a real fighter, could beat Bruce Lee in a real fight? The way I see it, the true answer should be, one, I have to go with Chuck because I've never seen Bruce Lee actually in these type of competitive, fights and everything. Or, I don't know. Because I've never seen Bruce Lee in a competitive fight like that. But he is a martial artist. So that style is something that he's accustomed to. Chuck Norris said him and Bruce Lee became friends in '68, and they had sparring matches leading up to the movie that they did, Return of the Dragon. They called it Way of the Dragon, but we got it as Return of the Dragon. Well, in him saying that, of course, the question was asked, who won? Chuck said, it really was no winner. We never sparred. It wasn't sparring like, I beat you, I got the best of you. It was more of, we're exchanging knowledge. I'm learning from him, he's learning from me. And it was never something really intense enough where I could say somebody won or it was like actual, like really spar, like we were really trying to go at it. He said, but no, he said Bruce is very quick. He says he's fast. He's a little guy. But my size over him and my strength over him would always be in my advantage. So Bruce likes to move around a lot. Now, one of the things he said is common sense. They said to the guy interviewing Chuck said, so what did the fights look like? He's talking, he's asking the question to where Chuck realized what he was trying to say. He said, okay, so it sounds like what you're asking me is, do they look like the movie fighting look the same as a spar? He said, no, it's different. Completely different. The movements and everything. You would think people would have common sense to know that, but people really don't. People really think that what they see on that movie screen is how a person fights in real life. So stylistically, first of all, let me show you something. You do this shit in a fight and somebody throw a punch, this right here, you can, how stupid can a person be? Only a non-fighter would know. This is just for the movie. That's swag. You ever see battle rappers? Yeah, nigga, I fuck your bitch. You know what I'm saying? I come up in there, she suck my dick. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's swag. That's not, who the fuck does this in a real fight? Notice in any of Bruce Lee's demonstrations, you never see him do this dumb shit, right? That's for the movies. So once again, it was weird because after my last video, I talked to some people too. People see my shit, and then I'm talking to people in person, and they're like, "Yo, you know what? I love the way you break shit down." Because honestly, I never really looked at it like that. I just looked at it like Bruce was a bad motherfucker, and usually because that's what everybody say. I'm like, okay, that's my point. People will tell you what somebody is, what they can do, and then you go and repeat it. And then basically, it's like, do you know what it's like to do light sparring or full contact? Do you know what it's like to spar somebody and the sparring is like, let's work on some defense. I want you to basically work on slipping and moving. Pretend your arm is hurt and you can't throw punches and you have to survive. You know that's part of your sparring. So you might see a dude busted lip or something. I might be a little right and think he got his ass whooped, but no. All he was doing was slipping and punching. He wasn't even throwing nothing. Or I want you to just jab and move. So the person that's giving you that work is helping you work on defense. Any real boxer knows that sometimes you in the gym, you just throw nothing but a jab the whole time. 3 rounds of 4 and nothing but just throwing a jab, moving, slipping, just a jab alone. These are all different things. See, muscle memory kicks in, but for me, it's not just muscle memory. It's knowing what I want to do. It's instinctively adjusting and adapting in the ring because your opponent may be different from the way you anticipate them. Only somebody who train and do this shit on the regular is going to have this shit locked in. So this is where I keep telling you guys. In terms of what Bruce does, all the unsanctioned fights or how many they were or whatever, Bruce wasn't constantly sparring like people think. They talk about, oh, he was sparring. Not boxing. Not boxing. His sparring with other people. You ever see the videos where Van Damme was like throwing kicks, him and another actor? They jumping around, going through the motions and kicking, but nobody's really trying to go at each other. Okay. That is just the sharpness, the timing. Now, when you put it all together and you're in there really going full contact, you think Bruce Lee don't get tired? He don't feel pain? You think Bruce Lee don't bleed? You think Bruce Lee is just perfect? No. His style, his he was a school teacher. He taught. He had students. Do you understand? So Bruce Lee and what he did, okay. For him, I don't know what his mindset was. If it was, I want to prove I'm the best martial artist, so I'm going to go from dojo to dojo. I don't know how it happened. Now, when you watch the Bruce Lee show, the story, you got to understand, which I've had like the first 2 or 3 seasons or whatever. Then they got the new Bruce Lee movie series or whatever. I watched some of it. You got to understand, even what they do for the cameras is not always true. It's to, hey man, we got to spice it up and make it more, interesting. So for Bruce Lee to fight as a boxer, he has to train as a boxer. For Bruce Lee to do his Jeet Kune Do and all of whatever so what? It doesn't matter. That style works for that style. Like when you see people doing Wing Chun. Have you ever seen somebody really do Wing Chun in a fight against other styles? Nope. You always see that style versus that style. Now, when it comes down to your style versus mine, okay, cool. Now we can punch, kick, throw elbow, all that shit. All of it. That's why within the Kung Fu movies or the martial arts movies, you see somebody do the praying mantis style and they're fighting against somebody doing the monkey style and all. Now, let's picture in real life somebody doing monkey style in a fight. How long do you think that's going to last for somebody hopping around? Because basically you're going to wear yourself out doing it, hopping around like a monkey. You're going to wear your fucking self out, first of all. What happens when they get tired? What's going to happen now? So every style is not effective. You see those styles where the dude, remember that sleeping fairy style, the dude pretending he's sewing and doing all this. This is movie fucking fighting, people. And a lot of martial arts is for calmness. It's discipline. You understand what I'm saying? It's not wise to use all this shit in the actual real fight. And a real martial artist would tell you that shit. Now, I wouldn't suggest you do that in a real fight. Okay, example. In a fucking movie, a motherfucker got a knife like this. And how do they attack you? Ah, right? And they run up this close to you with the knife way back here. You know what a motherfucker do in real life? They run up on your ass. And you know what you do? And you're dead. You think in a real life, you no, stop it. It's movie shit. And I always tell people, don't be stupid, man. I remember this guy was throwing body shots at me, right? And it was funny because the way he came out, you know, you spar a person, and in your sparring, it's just sparring, but that person is sparring you like it's a title fight, right? And he's throwing shots at the body. Okay, cool. And I caught the shot, uppercut, bam! And he didn't see the uppercut, and next thing I know, he's like, the way he went across the fucking ring. That's what he did. I'm a southpaw. I can switch up. He came to the body, clutch, catch, bam! Just a quick uppercut, just like that. Catch, bam! And that motherfucker went flying across the ring. And he told me, yo, I thought I tripped. I didn't even know I got punched. Everybody started laughing. And he was so jittery. And I was just calm and cool. And I'm here. And when I started getting on my toes, he looked at me and like just shook his head. Like at the end of the sparring session, he said, bro, how the fuck are you so big and moving around so fast like that? One of the things I learned, a guy told me one day, he said, when it comes to working out, training, anything with your fitness, the best way to never ever lose it is to never stop. Always stay in shape. That way, when you get in fight shape, it's right there. When you're no longer competing, always stay in shape. And I've always had that in my head. And the guy was like, yo, what the fuck did you hit me with? There's a short uppercut. Hey, he threw it to the body, I caught it, and with the same hand, bam, just caught it. And I threw it under. Real quick, boom, boom, bam, and he just went flying across the ring. He didn't even see the shit. And that guy used to tell me all the time, yo, man, you know, he was real arrogant when we first met. And he was about 20. And by this time, he's probably like 20, I think he's like 23. Like 23. Yeah, but he had matured because he got broke down, it was broken down to him, man. Respect. You come with respect, you're good. You come with that arrogant shit, we gonna test you and push you to see what you're made of. And you're gonna get the cold shoulder from people. So it's always good to be respectful. And a lot of people find out, they think they know everything, but they don't. You know, I remember one time, this guy in the gym told another guy, and I thought it was just disrespectful, man. It's like when you watch those old martial arts movies when a guy is like he's learning everything from his, I don't like that word master, but let's just say from his sensei, right? Whatever, same shit. But bottom line, he's learning from his sensei. But in his mind, what his sensei don't realize, it might be the type of shit where this guy come from a certain village, okay? Or his father was a murderer, right? Those people that they were with dictators and extorters or something. And maybe his sensei, you know, had part in putting them behind bars or killing them in defense. Now, he's not realizing, like, your father was evil, that those people were evil, right? They were ruining what was going on in this country. These guys were bad, right? But he don't tell him that. And then what happens, he learned from him, right? So now when he feel like he surpasses his sensei, he'll do something like poison him or something and then attack him and then let him know who he was, why he's, you know, Well, I remember I saw this situation in the gym. It was the same type of thing. Now, of course, not with the killing my people stuff. It was just this particular kid. He just got it in his head, man. Where I don't know. He was just an ungrateful, two-faced guy, and he's like one of those people. Like he wants to just be better than everybody. He don't want nobody to get any type of shine or nothing. It's just all about him. That's this guy's mentality. So what ended up happening was, I remember him kind of talking saucy to one of the trainers, and the trainer was like, "What's eating you today?" And he said, "Nah, man. It's just sometimes man, you don't know, man. Like I done surpassed you. Like I'm better than you, man. You just like you be trying to hold me back or something." And the trainer was looking at him, and at the time he was wrapping somebody else. He actually just finished wrapping somebody's hand, was putting the gloves on. He said, "Oh, that's what you think?" She said, "All right." He said, "Lace up," right? And it was funny because that particular trainer came in the gym and said, "Man, I feel real light on my feet this morning. I feel real good." He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready for, ready for a good, long, challenging day." And he said, "Nah, you know what? Lace him up. Lace him up." And the dude was just acting like a word, like he was looking forward to this. And this particular dude was a good trainer, was a good person. Like he was always when them trainers work with you, man, he'll pull you to the side. Yo, I want you to work on this and do this and that. Because he want to see people he's not, most people, they yelling out what they want you to do, this, that, like during the sparring and stuff. But he was just, he'd tell you, like, he was one of these people that worked one-on-one with everybody. He tried to, everybody. He had people coming to the gym that wasn't even paying memberships, man. He just wanted to see them do good, stuff like that. But he got in there with this guy and spanked the shit out of him. And one of the funniest things that guy said to him was, "And you taught me everything you know, man. You know what I'm saying? I got that shit better than you. I'm faster. I'm younger." He was trying to beat the fuck out of dude. And he needed that. And I remember he looked at him and said, "Just remember something, young buck. I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything that I know. You still got a long way to go, boy." And everybody in the gym was like, "Oh," like, I don't even think that they knew that he still had it in him to do it. See, and this is the thing that made me laugh, but at the same time, I felt like it was disrespectful. And it was one of them things where I wanted to, without my glove, just punch this motherfucker with everything I got right in his fucking jawbone and just shatter his shit on both sides. It's like, you motherfuckers are just ungrateful, two-faced motherfuckers, man. And he was one of them that was coming in, wasn't even paying. But this is his mentality. So people got to be humble, Now, once again, like I said, this has nothing to do with disliking anybody, man. It's just about the truth, plain and simple. Um, it's like all of a sudden you tell a joke and make somebody laugh. Now all of a sudden you're a fucking comedian. You think you don't have to work on material and study this shit and pay attention to the psychology and all, and you just gonna walk on stage because you made your son and your daughter laugh. Come on, man. You know. But yeah, and that's the thing. Like I listen to him, and I deal with reality. I'm not into this, let's hype everybody up type of stuff, man. At the end of the day, you know, real fighters practice at their craft on a regular basis. Real fighters know what it's like to get punched and have to punch back, slip move. You hit me, I hit you. We going. That's not what karate is. That's not what martial. That's not how they fight. These guys do point systems. And when it comes to unsanctioned shit, no rules, that's street fighting. That's fucking street fighting. We all got street fighting in us. Well, some of us. I can't say all. I've seen, yeah. But bottom line, I'm that motherfucker would never be in the fucking ring. Somebody hit me low or headbutt me, and I'm gonna be like, "Ref, hit." Nope. I elbow the fuck out you. Yeah. Whatever you try to do to me, I'm gonna do to you. I'm not that motherfucker that's like, "Yo, ref, he cheating, ref, he's doing." No. Now, you want to be an asshole and have the fight canceled or disqualified or whatever, hey, and we rematch and you do the same, it's going to be the same thing. My corner's supposed to handle the referee. But me as a fighter, you're not going to intimidate me no type of way. You're not going to do nothing to me that I can't do back to you. Now, all that being said, when you fight a different style, a Muay Thai guy is not going to come into a boxing ring and beat a boxer. A boxer needs to learn Muay Thai. It's a different style of fighting. It's all different. If you think any one person on this earth just has the ability to just beat everybody because somebody tell you that they can, and you've never seen this motherfucker fight, this motherfucker, there are no fights of him. No, there are no fights of him. There's no full contact, him, nothing. And the one fight that he had, I guess that guy Wellington was his name, or well something. Well, I wish I had pulled it up already. Let me see something. Let me see if I can type it in, and put. Let me see if I can. Let me see. I don't know if it's still recording, if it paused or anything, but let me see if I can pull this up so I can read it here. Let me see. Okay, so let me see. Let me see. They might not even have any actual. Well, I doubt they got it. Well, they don't have any footage of it at all. But I'm trying to see if they can. The guy's name was something Wellington or something, and Bruce said that Bruce boxed the guy and beat the guy. Let me see. Let me see. But let me see. Let me see. Nah. See, they're not even, and that's the thing. See, and this is what people need to understand. The fact that we can't even find footage of this shit, we can't even find stories of it. And this is coming from the stories themselves are coming from people that was around Bruce Lee at the time. So you know what I'm saying? There's no actual footage, no actual stories of it, just people saying things. And this is exactly the point what I'm talking about, man. If you're gonna say that a guy is, or anybody is talented to do something and they can't demonstrate it, we can't see it for ourselves. Now we go around and say, hey, guess what? Such and such is this and this and this and that. How you know? Nah, because we saw it. Where was it? Well, such and such said, and this is all it is. But then you got people that will lie and act as if they witnessed something that they were told that they clearly did not see. Now, when people take something as hate in this ignorant generation, or take something as you're just putting somebody that, no. If lying for you makes you feel good, well, we'll never get along. Because I never will sit and just make up things for people. And like I said, we loved Bruce Lee in the movies. But there's nothing about Bruce, like his one and only boxing match that this guy talks about. He's pretty much said that Bruce beat the guy, and Bruce never competed in boxing again. Western style boxing, he never competed again. And that's why I'm saying, all of these claims, and Bruce did, and he said, and he did. Even when Chuck was talking and he said, well, people think Bruce Lee can disappear. Like, remember when Muhammad Ali said he's so fast he can turn the light switch off and get out the room before it get dark? You know he was joking, right? But Bruce Lee fans think that Bruce Lee really can do that shit. So what we're talking about is real life versus fantasy. How can you make all of these fucking claims about what somebody can do? You yourself never even saw it. And regardless, if I didn't show you guys the clip of Bruce Lee hitting that bag, you wouldn't even know that it existed. And if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't even think it was Bruce Lee. That's Bruce. Now you telling me in the fucking movies, his style is, but in real life, he's, right? That's what y'all saw him doing, jumping up into the back. This is what he was doing. How in the fuck does that make anybody think that beats anybody in real life? Even a motherfucker off the street. So what I'm telling you is, the Superman persona that some people have based on legend and story, well, are you going to believe your own two eyes or stories? So it is what it is. Now, on the flip side of talking about Bruce Lee, right? Let's talk about somebody else, because I want to make this really clear. And I feel like this was just interesting to talk about. The other day, I was having a conversation with someone. Now, someone made a comment about Eddie Murphy was this, Eddie Murphy was that, Eddie Murphy. I saw this video before, and somebody sent the link to me, and I told the guy, I said, yeah, I saw this before. Now, this is what this guy was saying. You guys remember Dolomite, Rudy Raymoore. He said, oh, Eddie Murphy ain't shit, man, because, you know, Rudy really liked Eddie, man. Eddie could have did this, and Eddie could have did that. Now, let's back up. This one guy who claims that he was really close with Dolomite, okay, Rudy Raymoore. For him to say the things he said about Eddie Murphy, I said, now let's look at something. Eddie Murphy put Damon Wayans in one of his movies. Had a short clip, but had put him in one of his movies. Didn't have to do it, and he did it. Damon, he put Robin Harris, Richard Pryor, Martin Lawrence, David Alan Grier, Halle Berry, Robin Givens. I mean, the list goes on. Red Fox, Ronaldo Ray. I mean, he is, through his career, has always looked out and put black comedians in his movies. Okay, did movies with white people or whoever, you understand what I'm saying, but he always, because this is what this guy was trying to say. He could have did this for Rudy Raymoore. Now, you call him a piece of shit because he didn't put Rudy Raymoore in one of his movies. Okay. Like I said, Tisha Campbell, Martin Lawrence. I mean, come on, man. He did Tommy Smalls. The guy that played Tommy Smalls. What was his name? Tommy, whatever. But Tommy. I mean, he done did all of this shit with these different people. But somehow, what's my man name that they called, that was playing Pops on the Wayans brothers? John something, whatever. But he put all these, the lady that played Myra on Martin. He done put all these different people in movies. Now, the guy that was talking and on behalf of Rudy Raymoore, let me say this. First of all, Rudy Raymoore was not a good actor. Rudy Raymoore's legend comes from, for one, Eddie Murphy played Dolomite. The dude tried to walk it down and say he just making money off of Rudy Raymoore and all or whatever. But let's just be real, man. After that movie, you know what happened when I went in Walmart and different places? I started seeing Rudy Raymoore, Dolomite, all his movie packaged up together, like all his movies were Petey Wheatstraw and all that shit, everything. All these, right? Now, those movies that he made started getting more attention, and people even said the sales of the movies and everything changed because Eddie Murphy did the Dolomite movie. Martin Lawrence put Rudy Raymoore on his show when they did that Players Ball, and they put my man that played Pretty Tony on the Mac and all that. Janae Dubois from Good Times that played with Lona. Pam Grier, he put on the show. my man from Full Force, the lead singer, but they didn't even know. It's like the crowd reacted like they didn't even know who the fuck he was, and he was in the movie, House Party with Martin and them. But bottom line is, when he did that, right, he played him, and he told his story, and the movie was very successful. Now check this out. Rudy Raymoore became a comedian first. He was taking jokes that homeless people and different guys around winos and them was sitting around telling jokes and cracking on each other. He was taking their jokes, and then he was using their jokes and then adding to those jokes, and he created a style, a persona, and an image for himself. And then he was going to work in this club all the time, and he came in, and that's when he started the Dolomite thing, right? The movies came later, but the movies were movies that he was recording, directing, producing on his own. He was doing the party records, and he was just Rudy Ray Moore. What made him stand out was his hustle, his grind, his refusing to not go out there and put his product out there. He worked his ass off. Like his thing, he was relentless with his approach. Now, you got to understand, he had a cult following, an underground cult following, and it was one of those things where the black people was into his stuff. It was raunchy. It was like the movies were terrible. I got all of his movies. I have every Rudy Raymoore movie. Then when you see the microphone in the shot and stuff like that, just the acting was terrible, man. and the funny thing, in the movie, when they would fight, what are they portraying? Martial arts. You see the way they threw punches and kicks and stuff, and you knew damn well they ain't no damn martial arts. And just the scripts alone. Okay. So Rudy Ray Moore was no great actor, man. Rudy Ray Moore was more followed and had more fans due to his comedy, and they followed him to the big screen. But Rudy Ray Moore never made it as a big star. He was like an underground, he had an underground following, put it like that, and he was an underground star, if you want to say it like that. And the black people was into his style. Now, in terms of how his movies went, like I said, very raunchy, full nudity, several nude scenes in the shows and stuff like that. And I mean, it was just something to watch that may have made you laugh. And you got to understand the time that these movies came out in the 70s. But other than that, he was no great actor. And even when it comes to comedians, like, you don't ever hear anybody bring up Rudy Ray Moore. His style was his style that he stole and then created into his own. But if you listen to his jokes, he was just raunchy more than anything else. Now, he said some stuff that could make you laugh at times, but it was very repetitive style, But that was him. Dolomite is my name, and riding and tapping is my game. And you know how he said this shit. I stuck it in the bitch, and the bitch began to shout. She said, "Oh, Mr. Dolomite, take that motherfucker out!" So he had that shock value type style. You understand? So it was more shock value than anything else. Some of it could make you laugh, but like overall, that was his strong point, not his movies. But the fact that he could make these movies and put the type of stuff in it that he was putting in it, in terms of the nudity and certain women, the big twins and, all that. And so my thing was, to each his own. Now, if you watch Dolomite movies and feel like, yo, Dolomite is that dude, oh, cool. But Dolomite was never a big star. Dolomite was never a household name. Dolomite was not seen the way Eddie Murphy was. He's not seen the way Richard Pryor was. He's not seen the way Red Fox was. He was a guy that people feel like his style was too dirty. Red Fox himself, as a comedian, was told he was too dirty. Now, our introduction to Red Fox was we were little kids, and the show Sanford and Son By the time we was watching, it was already like, it was. So you know what I mean. But but Rudy Raymoore never had that. What he had, you can't put that out to families and little kids and stuff. You could watch Sanford and Son. You could watch those shows, right? Stuff like that. And they edit stuff because there's certain things. Like I never knew they said the word nigga on Sanford and Son until back in the day when I bought the DVD, bought the collection. They never said that shit on TV. Stuff like that. So, like I don't know what happened to the sissy ass, soft, sensitive, like how men, so-called people in general, but so-called men don't understand when you explain things. Everything is hating because you like something. Fuck you, man. I'm unapologetic. And I always will be. But I'm doing nothing but being honest about shit. You look at Rudy Raymoore and anything he's done, it's always an underground following. That's it. So when we bring these things out, what I'm saying is, for somebody to fucking be so stupid, why y'all hating on Rudy Raymoore, man? Shut the fuck up. How can you possibly be that stupid, man? And I'm listening to like the conversation that I was having with this one brother. I told him the same thing I'm saying. I said, bro, I'm not like crazy about like Dolomite. If you sit and watch the movies, there's not much happening. It's just something to watch. And I laugh at stuff more than anything that's even not even meant to be funny, man. Like, I gotta do this, man. You can't see me and shit, right? But bro, who the fuck? Do you see how they punch in the movies? Somebody throw a punch, ugh. This how the motherfucker throw kicks. Who the fuck does that shit, right? So, and then they're doing this like they're doing karate and shit. And the motherfucker literally said, hi-ya! Like, come on, man. Shit like that. So when Eddie Murphy was doing it in the movie, you actually had people from this generation watching it thinking that he was making fun of them. No! That's the fucking way they act. Example. Let's say even right now, if I sat here and wrote a script, but the movie is supposed to be a throwback to the 70s and 60s, right? Would it make sense if people sitting up here talking about, yo, brother, I'm not even on that type of time, nigga. Like, yo, for real, yo, y'all niggas tweaking. They didn't talk like that back then. So when you hear, you job time sucker, look here, turkey, you better get in the wind. That's how the fuck they was talking. How did they say shit? Remember this shit? They find a fucking bullet. Motherfucker be like, what can you tell me about this? Motherfucker, look at it. I don't know where this comes from, but I can tell you one thing. This is some heavy shit, man. That's how they talked. Remember how they used to do this? They always staring into the distance. Somebody say something to them and they'll be like, I'm going to find who killed my brother. And when I do, I'm going to tear that turkey's heart out. And then they go to a cutscene. And you be sitting there cracking like, what the fuck are you looking at, right? They always, that's the way they act back then. So if we were going to do a movie, and that movie was going to be based on those times, we have to dress like them, we have to talk like them, we have to walk the way they did, the type of music that was out back, that's what makes the feeling. So for the people watching it, that's what it's for. And for people who don't know can watch, and then this is the kind of stuff that make people go back and look at the old stuff and say, oh shit, I never knew that. Like, I tell you what, these comedians be stealing jokes. Like, example, I don't know if it was Mike Epps' very last one, but I remember him, the very last thing I remember Mike Epps doing, and he said, he was talking about something he was saying about people fucking or something. And he said, Jesus knows your crooked Christian ass. And the crowd was cracking up. He stole that shit from Red Fox, man. That a direct quote from Red Fox. Several people have stolen from Red Fox. You know why? Because Red Fox had party records, but guess what? They didn't put that shit on YouTube, so you can go look at all Red Fox jokes, and you like, wow. And if you did, you realize how so many comedians have stole Red Fox shit. Yeah, Jesus knows your crooked Christian. That came from Red Fox. And there's other quotes, many other, even jokes that Red Fox told. Now, it would make more sense if they said these things and then said, I got that joke from Red Fox. You know, it's just a joke. I can tell you 20 jokes right now. I didn't write none of them. You understand what I mean? But if I said a joke on stage and I said, I'm going to tell y'all a joke I heard. I think this is funny. That would be me telling you I didn't write the joke, but I just think the joke is funny. But they go up there and say it as if they said it. And at no point in time do they explain where they got that joke from. So yeah, man. I mean, you know, Rudy Raymoore, and to what made Rudy Raymoore's thing stand out, he had the little music playing, had his own little look, and he's talking that raunchy shit. And if you think about it, right, he was rhyming. Who else was rhyming back in the day? Muhammad Ali, right? So what I'm saying, but he's saying some raunchy shit. He's cursing and swearing. His voice, that raspy ass voice he had, right? He's saying a bunch of shit that you're not going to hear every day. So like I said, he stayed relevant as long as he could, just like anybody else, man. But Rudy Raymoore was not a great actor. He wasn't even a good actor. His movies were, like I said, his movies to me was just something to watch. And of course, by the time I saw his shit, it was way later, and the movies were old already. But I basically would watch it, and it was just something to watch. You know, if you go watch the old movie, The Mac, with Richard Pryor and Max Julian and stuff like that, you know, Cooley High, you know, Young Blood, like all these other movies and stuff, man, like those movies was dope as fuck to me. Like, you know, but you know, Rudy Raymoore stuff never hit me like that. Like I said, it's more of a shock value, and it's more of a, like, there are things that made me laugh, but things that wasn't supposed to be funny was making me laugh more because the acting was so damn terrible. And this is what I'm saying, what people don't understand this shit, right? He was a glorified low budget actor. No real acting skills, no acting lessons, no talent. He just was a guy, got in front of a camera and had a passion to do it. But that's what that was. Now, the same way I said the things that I said about Bruce Lee and brought these things to the light, it's not to discredit. It's just to make people understand. Because you think, let me tell you something about word of mouth. Around the corner from me, there's like a lake. Like, it's not even a lake. It's a waterfall. That's probably like maybe a 5-foot drop. It's like a pond, man. I don't even know what you call it. It's like a little stream of water, and it just comes down. It's constantly running. You got to go out into the woods to get to it. Do you know when I first came out this motherfucker for years, like 5-6 years straight, people, don't you go down there, you fall down that waterfall. Do you know people thought that at the end of the path was a waterfall and that there would be like a really huge drop, like where you know. And I didn't, and I remember seeing people jogging right one day, and I'm like, so I asked this one lady, I said, ma'am, do you know there's a waterfall? Oh, it's a nice little waterfall. Yeah, this and this and this. I said, little one. She said, oh yeah, it's. So I walk. She's walking down there. We walking and talking and shit. And I go down there and I see it for the first time. I started laughing, right? So one day, one of my neighbors was talking to me, and I said, she was talking about that waterfall. I told this crazy boy, he ran in and killed himself. That damn. And I said, wait a minute, let me ask you something. I said, when you say waterfall, what are you like envisioning? She's like, no, people told me there's a waterfall over there, and that thing, you know, a waterfall. In her mind, she's thinking like a really deep drop. I told her, I said, it was about a 5-foot drop. And she said, really? And I showed her. I took a little video of it on my phone. This is what I mean about how people hear things and then repeat it. You live in the same area that I live in. What was you scared? You was going to walk down there and a gust of wind was going to take you down a waterfall or something? It's just a waterfall. A waterfall can be this big. They can be portable, little man-made little water. You understand? Or no, it was a 5-foot drop. But she thought it was some real deep, like, and I'm like, wow. All because of word of mouth. And all it took was somebody with just a little interest to find out. And guess what? No. Now when I told her this, she started laughing and said, "Oh my God, I'm thinking all this time that," and that's what all of them were thinking, that it's some really big, because we got bears out here. You understand what I mean? And so people, like, I'd be more concerned about that than some damn waterfall, because you got common sense. Like, I mean, only in movies do people run and look back and then all of a sudden, they fall off of a fucking waterfall. It's like a 5-foot drop. But because of people telling you something that you didn't check into yourself, you think that it's a dangerous situation. Now, a 5-foot drop can be dangerous if you walking looking backwards like a dumbass, or walking backwards. Like, who's going to do that other than movies, right? This is what I mean about when people say things, man. And I said, I'll make a video about this. Because this one dude that was talking to me about, it was a couple of us, but the one dude in particular was talking about Dolomite and all. You know what he said to me that I'm not surprised about towards the end of our conversation? Well, I really never seen like a Dolomite movie, but I'm like, and you sitting up here telling me how great Dolomite was. You sitting there telling me how funny he was, and he was this, he was one of the GOATs, because, man, he knew Martin put him on his show. He didn't know who he was. But when he found out that he was on Martin's show, because he said that was like one of his favorite episodes, and then Eddie Murphy did the movie, anything he thought he knew about Rudy Raymoore ended up being from the Dolomite movie that Eddie Murphy made. And to show you also the effect, when he saw the episode of Martin, he never knew that that was actual Dolomite. And he remembered, like, wait, what did I hear that about from that this and that? Then that movie made him pay attention to who Rudy Raymoore was. So he's never even seen a Dolomite movie. But based on Eddie's version of Dolomite, this is where he's getting his information from about who Dolomite is. See, that's what I mean about word of mouth versus you doing homework on something. But it is what it is, man. And you know what? Also, you got to understand this too, right? And let me make a point about something. I know this has nothing to do with it, it's off topic, but I got to say this too. I did the video, a part 2 about Terrence Crawford's resume, and I broke down everything. Check the video out. Let me just add this, because I didn't say that in that video, and I don't know why, it just popped in my head. But let me add this. This guy that Crawford fought, this is his name, in Gandu or whatever, Ndongo. When people was talking about trying to make a case for Ndongo as being some great, he's no great fighter, he's no Hall of Fame fighter. Ndongo was an iffy motherfucker. Okay? Let's get something straight. Regis Prograde, who you all clown and can't stand because he got embarrassed by Devin Haney, because y'all some bitches, but Regis Prograde beat the shit out of him in his very next fight. All right? Let that sink in. Regis Prograde beat somebody that Terrence Crawford beat, and even worse. And if Regis Prograde can dominate you, you're not that good of a fighter. Regis Prograde, Matisse, Provodnikov, Chris Algieri, fighters of that nature. Those people are in the same type of category. And even Adrian Broner is a 3-time world champion, but nobody ever talks about the people he beat to become a champion. They just talk about the fact he's a 3-time champion. Adrian Broner has beaten no Hall of Famers either. He's beaten no all-time greats ever. Now, if you're going to put Adrian Broner in there because he's a 3-time champion, okay, that's because of accomplishments. But who did he beat? So no matter what he could have been or how good people thought he would have been, we saw the results. We saw him peak. And he never lived up to the potential that people had planned for him that they thought that they saw in him. So if we're just gonna hand people shit, because like I said, there's people in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't be in there. And to call somebody an all-time great who's never beaten an all-time great or Hall of Famer, no, that's a no-no. Adrian Broner is none of them. He's neither one. And as sad as that might make some people feel, which I don't know how the fuck y'all be walking right here getting all y'all feelings about these grown-ass men, but as bad as that might make some people feel, that's just the reality. The dude is not a Hall of Famer. He's not an all-time great based off of who he's beaten. Just the fact that he's a 3-time champion might get him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I really don't even care about all that shit. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, let's not forget, Regis Prograis beat the fuck out of Indongo. So stop it. Stop it. And Regis Prograis has beat no Hall of Famers and no all-time greats. See, you want to take people from your generation and put them in a category that they don't belong in. And so, this all stems from Crawford saying Errol Spence is not a Hall of Famer. So, but yeah, that's where that goes. So it's not about hate. This is about the truth. How would you like to go to work and they tell you that you fired for stealing? You ain't steal shit, but somebody said you did. Yet y'all got cameras. They don't take the chance. They don't take the time to check the cameras. They just take that person's word, and now you're fired. Now you might have to get an attorney to fight to get your job back, but did you really want to work for a place that don't want you there? Because at that point, it's you know what I mean, that feeling you'd have just seeing these same people that try to take your job. And the fact that they don't check and do homework to make sure that what was said about you is true. What did that say to you about how they see you? You know what I'm saying? So, grown-ups do grown-up shit. Kids, well, of course, y'all do kiddie shit. It has no hate about nothing. It's just a reality, man, that people are scared to, they're too stupid to want to just acknowledge that facts are facts. And yeah, man, Rudy Raymoore was not a great actor. Rudy Raymoore had hustle, he had grind, and his determination. That was what made him stand out. That's what he gets so much credit for. Like the dude work ethic, man. Like his vision was his vision. And it wasn't, he never, like I said, he never became a big star, some global sensation, none of that shit. But that's where he gets his credit for, was like, he just was relentless, man, with hey, nah, man, I'm going from working in this club, being host of the night, to I'm going to be the star in this motherfucker. I'm being here. I'm going to be the reason people coming to see see me tell jokes, come and see me and listen to me. And then it went from that to him starting to make his own movies, man. And we see how that went. Everything from him, renting out this big ass abandoned theater and shit, man, and doing everything he had to do to try to make things work out for him, That's his hustle more than anything else. It's not him as an actor. It's not him as a comedian. But he was a better comedian than he was an actor. But again, his jokes wasn't even original, man. he clearly was stealing other people's shit. So you got to be a complete fucking fool, which I don't give a fuck if you get mad. Fuck you. But, you got to be a complete fucking fool to get mad at somebody because they're telling you the fucking truth. God damn, I don't know, man. I wish one day I run into one of you stupid motherfuckers and you need address, and I would purposely send you to the wrong fucking place because you're too dumb to fucking understand common sense. Like I could tell you, you know what, man? We over here in Kentucky trying to find, the Kentucky Derby. Nah, you're in the wrong place. You got to go back that way. Drive till you see the sign that says Washington, D.C., make a right and just keep going until you see the yellow horses. Okay, keep going. Drive to, see the sign that says Washington, D.C., make a right turn till I see the yellow horse. Okay, and that'd be enough information for you dumb motherfuckers to realize, you won't even realize, instead of Kentucky, I'm sending you to Washington. Honestly, this is like the fucking, idiotic shit that y'all be talking about. Sometimes I hear y'all voices and I just like read y'all comments. It's like I just hear stupid voice to the damn words. Like y'all some real bozos, man. Ain't got no problem with them, these motherfuckers, man. Fuck would I have a problem with any of these motherfuckers? I don't know them. Bruce ain't never did shit to me. Dolomite ain't never did shit to me. But I guess I'm supposed to sit here and say, yo, Bruce Lee was the deadliest fighter ever. Nobody could beat that motherfucker. Bruce Lee was superhuman. He had superhuman strength. He had no flaws, no weaknesses, or nothing. He was just a perfect fighter, even though he has no professional record, and I've never seen him fight nobody. And the only thing I hear is legend. I heard he had one fucking so-called boxing match, but there's no footage of it. And one person told his story, and we don't know anything except the guy last name is Wellington or some shit like that. Yeah, Rudy Raymoore was the funniest. Yo, he's the GOAT, bro. He's the funniest comedian I've ever heard. Nobody can make me laugh like him. Well, even though that's not true, and others do, and pretty much I just look at his movie like just something to watch, but nothing special. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like what do y'all want? Lies is what make you feel good? Come on, man. Yeah, and once again, somebody telling me something about a person that he never even seen a Rudy Raymoore movie. So how the fuck could he say anything? No different from people saying LeBron is the greatest basketball player ever, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, and then they watch a Michael Jordan video and go, yo, I ain't know Jordan was hooping like that, which means you can't form an opinion about what you don't know. You made some type of assumption, or I don't need to see Jordan after seeing Kyrie and them. I know can't nobody be better than them. But look at how they react to Jordan when they see this motherfucker. You talk, and what's funny, you defending Kobe or LeBron or Kyrie or whoever wearing a pair of Jordans. In fact, that's all you wear. You're not even wearing their sneakers. But at the same fucking time, you never even seen Jordan hoop. But once you finally see him, y'all like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, this dude's the GOAT. And I'm like, I don't care about all that bullshit. But what I'm saying is, how can you form an opinion about something when you've never seen the guy play? And that's what oh my God, look at their reactions and how many times they rewind something he does. Oh my, yo, this dude, yo, and he had handles too. He could shoot the 3-ball. And he played defense. Oh, yeah. Oh, he could pass too. You're just finding out something we already knew. Anyway, Bruce, Rudy Raymoore, everybody I talked about in this video. Ain't been nothing but respect. But we got to be honest about where you stand. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all in the next video.